Hello everyone, my name is Joseph and I am discussing today about the comparative study between the international, national, and customary law of politics and governance of indigenous people of the Talaandig tribe. Now we will tackle first about the international and national system of the indigenous people. Now, during the group meeting of international experts on the Millennium Development Goals, Indigenous Participation in Good Governance, the United Nations tackled about the revitalization of indigenous governance system, wherein several indigenous political and governance topics were discussed about their systems and form of government that indigenous people were exercising. One of the topics that were discussed is that the unit of administration and governance among the indigenous people was restricted to the village level. However, after the means of communication developed, the sphere of administration and governance were expanded, in which a number of villages came partially under one administrative system. Before colonial rule, indigenous people were effectively independent. Generally, four major institutions of authority governed indigenous political and administrative system. First is the village head or chief. Second is the council of elders. Third is the priestesses or the priests. And of course, last but not the least, the warriors. The four institutions work closely together to safeguard the interests of the community because various tribes or communities were often at war with another. Thus, community leaders usually comprise of individuals who were knowledgeable about the custom and tradition of the customary law. Now, the heart of the discussions of the United Nations is the role of the four major institutions, wherein the village head or chief, the council of elders, the priestesses or priests, and the warriors. Now we'll talk about first the village head. The chief or village head held the highest authority in terms of hierarchy. He or she was responsible for the overall administration of the village and management of resources. He or she also was responsible for maintaining law and order in the village. The chief or village head presided over village meetings and hearings and played a major role in ensuring that the traditional land boundaries rituals were followed. The chief or village head was usually inherited as long as his personal integrity was fit enough in the eyes and standards of the villagers. In most cases, the chief or village head was elected for his extensive knowledge of the custom, wisdom, as well as his prowess and organizational ability to protect the village from any raids. Now, second is the council of elders. It is comprised of members of the community who were usually 40 years old and above. The council advised the chief of village or village head on all important matters concerning the village. The council of elders was the village administrative body, which made important decisions pertaining to security, development, justice, health, moral, spiritual standards of the community. Third is the priestesses or priests. Priestesses or priests were involved in most aspects of village life, the birth, marriage, and death, as well as other daily activities such as farming, hunting, and fishing. Besides being a medical specialist also, the priestesses were also a ritual specialist who ensured moral and spiritual integrity. Tradition and custom formed the basis of individual behavior, and it was believed that non-adherence to these traditional customs would bring diseases, sickness, and natural disasters. To restore harmony, appropriate rituals had to be performed by the priestesses. They were thus very influential and powerful figures in the community. The last of the major institutions are the warriors. The last of the major institution of authority was paramount leader or warrior, who was responsible for the security of the community by leading his group of warriors in protecting the village from outside intruders. The paramount leader or warrior was chosen for his prowess in war and in defense of the community. He represents the higher authority but still seek the advice and assistance from the priestesses to ward off enemies. In general, Indigenous system prefers participatory, inclusive, and consensus decision making, since the units are very localized and thus the decisions are applicable and appropriate. When standards or bylaws for management of community including resource are established, all nature community members have to attend a meeting and make decisions by consensus, as discussed by United Nations. The system ensures that everybody understands the rules, regulations, and laws which they set up by themselves. In important cases, unanimous agreement is practiced in such as for the decisions to go to war. If somebody is reluctant or expresses a negative opinion, the whole plan to go to war is cancelled. However, only the chief or village head and the council of elders may participate in deciding in minor issues. As discussed in the United Nations, it is a very rare or does not happen at all that the village chief or village head makes a decision alone on cases which affect the community if it is not urgent. In all these processes, the community as a whole also traditionally participate in decision making. Opportunities for social gatherings either in community houses or meeting places as well as in the course of daily work allows community members to discuss about issues and influence or contribute ideas to members of the Council of Elders. Now we will proceed to our comparative study between the international and national system of indigenous people to the customary law system of the indigenous people of the Talaandig tribe. In our consultation regarding the administrative system of the Talaandig tribe, the priestesses or priests were not included or stated in their administration. Only the village chief or the datu, the council of elders, and the warriors. The village chief or the dato will ask advice only in the council of elders, not in the priestesses or priests. There are only 3 institutions that they have, unlike as discussed in the international administrative system. In the form of selecting a leader, the council of elders will only observe regarding the potentiality, capability, and reliability of a child without applying the tradition of hereditary succession. They matter most about the character qualification, not on family dynasty but as to integrity, dignity, and respect that a potential child will manifest. The Council of Elders will help develop and support the child's advocacy and the form of leadership that he is exercising for the benefit and interest of the Talaandig tribe. In the matter of selection, the Council of Elders will be the one to select or elect who will be the village chief or the dato. Unlike in international law, it is the villagers who will evaluate and elect the chief of their village head. Moreover, as far as we have consulted, only a man will become a dato and not a woman. Unlike in international law, it signifies a he or she phrase. So it is a presumption that whether a village chief will be a man or a woman. Also, the term of the dato was not adequately detailed, but the Council of Elders may change or remove a dato if he is not competent and qualified already in serving his position. The Council of Elders during our consultations were really of 40 years old and above, consistent with the international law discussion. However, the selection or appointment of leaders were disclosed nor discussed during our consultations, but mostly they are appointed in accordance with their area of expertise and potentials. Moreover, their manner of having or asking of advice is not from the priestesses or priests. They are actually in coordination and cooperation with their dato or their village chief. In their customary system of governance, only the council of elders and the village chief or the dato may participate or make decisions as to what will benefit that inure to its community or citizens. Whenever war occurs, the council of elders will take adequate action to settle and resolve the conflicts between their citizens, and their citizens will rely and cooperate as to what are the resolutions taken by the dato and the council of elders.